Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mona Zaveria and I'm a natural hair enthusiast, and today I'll be talking about the 4 things that you need to know in order to determine your hair type. I actually talked about the first 3 things in my previous video, so I'll be leaving a link down below and also here so you can go and check it out. But today I'll be talking specifically about hair porosity. But before we get into the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted whenever I post a new video. So yeah, thanks in advance. So let's get into the video. What do I mean by hair porosity? Your hair porosity is determined by your cuticle, the most outer part of your hair. So depending on how close and how open your cuticles are, that's what determines your hair porosity. So hair porosity usually helps in maintaining moisturized hair strand. So there are 3 types of hair porosity. There is high hair porosity, there is middle hair porosity, and there is low hair porosity. So what is high hair porosity? High hair porosity basically is your cuticles are very wide open and they are very sparse from each other. So water can easily penetrate, and at the same time water can easily get lost. Yeah, that's what high porosity means. Then when we are speaking about medium porosity, what it basically means is that your hair cuticles are not very open, they're just mediumly open and not very sparse from each other. So that's the best hair porosity you can hope for. Then when you have low porosity hair, it means that your hair cuticles are very, very close to each other. So the scientific test that's used to determine your hair porosity is called the float test. So let me show you how to do the float test.
Hello guys, so what you'll need is a glass of water and some hair strand. Make sure that you have the hair strands from your wash day, that they're clean. If you use the ones that has products in or that's dirty, it will compromise the test. All you have to do is take the hair strands and put it inside water, then come and check after 30 minutes the results.
You see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of a superstar. She looks so fly in those Gucci slides. Yeah, I wonder what she hides under her disguise. Yeah.
30 minutes later, and you can see that my hair is floating. That means that I have low porosity hair. If it would have synced, that would have meant that I have high porosity hair. And if it was in between, that would have meant that I have normal porosity hair. And that's how you test for hair porosity.
So now that you know how to test for your hair porosity, let me just give you more properties that will help you identify your hair porosity much better. So let's start with high porosity hair. So basically with high porosity hair is that moisture has an easy time getting in, and it also gets out really quickly, so it leaves your hair dry more often. So there are some pros and cons. So when it comes to pros, is that your hair can easily stretch out, and secondly, product can easily be absorbed through your hair strand, and you don't need to add any external heat, especially when you're deep conditioning or using hot oil treatment. And when it comes to cons, because your hair dries out really quickly, so it causes a lot of breakage. So you have to really be gentle while dealing with high porosity hair, especially when you go to the salon, or if you want to hair like extensions, you have to be really gentle, and whoever is doing your hair has to really be gentle. So things like finger detangling should be your best friend. Then when it comes to how to keep high porosity hair happy, the first thing you want to do is to do a lot of protein treatments. You can do twice a month. And what basically protein treatments does, it just take part in curing the left out cuticles, because the cuticles are made up of protein that's called keratin to be specific. So it means when you do protein treatments, you fill in those sparse cuticles. So yeah, you have to do protein treatment. Another thing you can do apple cider vinegar rinse. So basically with apple cider vinegar rinse, what it does, it closes the cuticles. Since your cuticles are so open, it closes and it makes moisture not get out very quickly and leaves your hair really shiny. I talked about this in my previous video too. I'll leave a link down here and also here so you can go and check that out. Again, another thing you can do is full sebum coverage. I also talked about the scratch and scoop test in my previous video, so I don't want to be redundant about it. So go and watch there and learn. And as I've said again, the best way to keep high porosity hair, because it breaks really easily, is to really be gentle with it. So using things like wide tooth, comps are really important, and you doing finger detangling is important. So when it comes to low porosity hair, what I want you to understand is that because the cuticles are so close, it means that moisture getting in, it's hard, and also moisture getting out is hard. So one of the pro of having low porosity hair is that moisture can't easily get out, and that means that it leaves your hair moisturized for long. And one of the cons is because it takes a lot of effort to let even moisture get in, you always have to use heat externally so that you can help product be absorbed well in your hair strand, especially when doing things like deep conditioning and hot oil treatments. And also, when it comes to one of the cons is it's easily for your hair to form buildup because product doesn't easily get into your hair strand. So if you use a lot of product, you'll find that you get a lot of product buildup, and that can be dangerous. I talked about that also in my previous video, how buildup can be dangerous for your scalp and also your hair. Then another thing I want you to understand also with low porosity hair, it takes longer to dry, so that can be also a con, because when it's not always nice to leave your scalp that damp for a long period of time. So you also want to dry your hair really nice when you're from the shower, because if you don't, your hair will take longer to dry. And don't put product exactly from when you're in the shower. Let it at least dry first, then put the products in, and in that way you will enable your hair to dry faster, and you'll avoid creating conditions for things like fungi and bacteria to exist because of the dampness in your scalp and in your hair. So one of the ways to keep low porosity hair happy is, one, you have to take really good care of your ends, because our ends are the most fragile part of our hair. So taking good care of our ends can really help with low porosity hair. Number two, you always want to do protective styling. With low porosity hair, it loves to be left alone, so doing protective styling it's your best friend. Then number three, using heat can really be advantageous because it helps you lift the cuticle and products to get in easily. So using heat very, very carefully can be very nice. And I also want you to know, when you have low porosity hair, you can make your hair to go back to high porosity hair by damaging it, such as heat damage or using chemicals and colored treatments. So you have to be careful with that. So I want you to also to understand that I'm not saying when your hair is high porosity it means that it's damaged or relaxed or colored treated. No, your hair can behave like high porosity even though it's natural. I just want you to understand that the hair porosity is determined by your cuticle, and when you relax your hair, or your hair is color treated or it's heat damaged, I want you to understand it's because you have damaged your curl pattern, and your curl pattern is determined by the cortex. And I talked about this in my previous video about curl pattern and hair density and texture, and I don't think I explained this well, but let me just explain it here. So basically, when your hair is chemically treated or it has a colored treated or heat damage, it tends because the cortex is already damaged and your cuticles are highly raised, your hair tends to be really, really dry, and it can break off really easily. So that's the difference. Hope I've not confused you, and hope you have understood what I'm trying to say. So moving to the last one, that's the normal or the medium hair porosity. Basically, in this type of hair porosity, your hair easily lets moisture in, and also it keeps the moisture. It's easy for it to stretch, and also don't misuse heat when you have normal hair porosity. Basically, it's the best, and it can be achieved most of the time. You get people either have low porosity or high porosity. Medium porosity it's mostly achieved temporarily. It's not something that is usually permanent, but there may be people who have that, because natural hair, as I've said before, it comes in all sizes and shapes. So guys, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to leave a chart that's going to compare low porosity hair and high porosity hair. Please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It will really help me. And yeah, thank you guys. So see you on my next video on Tuesday. Bye.